Welcome to Heritage Acres Homestead. I'm Chas. Here you'll find our family as we strive to live a life that pleases the Lord. We do our best to make the most out of what we've been given, so we'd like to invite you to come along and join us on our journey.
Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to Heritage Acres Homestead. I'm Chas, and today we're going to talk about milk kefir or kefir or kefir, however you want to say it. We're going to talk about it. What is it? Why would you want it? And what can it do for you? All right, so let me show you what they look like first before we even get into it. Now, I'm going to tell you right off. I say kefir. This is I know it's not the right way of saying it, but just know it's not necessarily that I'm trying to be belligerent and, troublesome. It's just what I say. My daughters have told me that because I was like, maybe I can start learning to say kefir. And they were like, no, that sounds like you're uppity. So kefir it is. But there are different kinds of kefir out there. And I do brew both. I do a milk kefir and a water kefir. They're very different. So we're not going to, confuse those. Today we're just talking about milk kefir because I think it's something that's going to benefit you. I've seen it firsthand benefit my family. Let me show you what they look like. I'm trying to get those out. All right, so see, if you look at that, they look sort of like cottage cheese grains. And they're just little globule, and that's a technical word, so take that to the bank. Little globule cultures of bacteria is basically what it is. And what you want to do with it, and let me tell you this. You can actually buy kefir in the store now. It's in the dairy department. You can buy milk kefir. And if you're trying to just dip your feet into it and you want to try it firsthand without brewing it yourself, you can go that route. And it'll be fairly good for you, but it's nothing like what you can do. Of course, I know that seems to be my theme. It's not like what you can do by brewing your own. So I talk a lot about this puppy. I talk a lot about gut health, and that is the theme of what I do, because I've seen how gut health can affect our bodies. And when it's poor, we suffer. Change of location because I'm waiting for the soup to boil, and I thought I would talk with you about the milk kefir. And you may be like me and wonder, what in the world is milk kefir? How do the little grains form, and where did it start? So I love to learn things like this, and I thought maybe you might enjoy it too. I need to take my foot off that. It's making it shiver. Okay, so milk kefir began over in Europe, and I believe it was around Russia. What happened is they would take their goat skins and they would use them as a pouch, and they would put the fresh milk into the pouch, and however they figured this out, I don't know, but obviously they figured it out. They put it into the pouch and they would hang it in the doorway. Each time someone would come in and out of the doorway, it would jostle the bag. And so it would, shake it a little bit, and the lining of that goat skin reacted with the fresh milk, and it made the grains ferment, or the milk would ferment. Over time, what I've come to understand over time is because they would just continuously do this, there would be those little colonies of bacteria that were made, and that's what we know of as kefir grains now. So basically what kefir grains are, they're just little colonies of bacteria that kind of feed off of the sugars in the milk, and then they multiply. And so when they multiply, that means you can do larger batches, or you can share them around with friends, or, you know, make you a little side hustle with them and sell some. So it's a really cool concept, and it's just, I really love learning about things, especially things that are so beneficial to our health. A study I read while I was researching this was that they had a study, and then they tested people's guts, basically. You know, it sounds, I'm not a scientist, I'm just telling you what I read. They tested people because their gut biomes. All right, your gut biome is different than my gut biome, and they're made up of so many thousands and millions of bacteria. Some of us have better gut biomes than others, and this is one thing that we're wanting to. This is a place where you want the good bacteria to fight off the bad bacteria. Okay. So it's just a little, war going on, and when there's disruptions, that's what's happening, is the good's fighting the bad. And that's how I explained it to my kids too. So anyways, when this test was done, the person had the before test, before any kefir at all, and then the after kefir test, and they monitored it. Within 8 hours, y'all, 8 hours, their gut biome was significantly improved. Now tell me, if that don't seal the deal for you to want to get kefir in your diet, then I don't know what would, because that is amazing. Another study I read about was this lady was suffering with, I want to say it's giardia. Anyways, it's some type of terrible ailment of the gut. And she had tried everything, like everything the doctors wanted to give her, everything like she looked high and low trying to find stuff. And she was on antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic. And she basically was like, she felt like she was on death's door. Because it had been like a year that she had this. Anyways, a holistically minded lady said, "Hey, I've got something for you to try." And it was milk kefir. And, she's like, at this point, I'm ready. I'll try whatever, because nothing else is helping me, and I don't know what to do. So she went, and the lady was brewing it for her. And when I say brewing, that means like she did the fermenting process for her. I just say brew it. So anyway, she did the brewing for her, sent it to the lady that was ailing, and the lady recovered fully. Nothing else changed in her life besides the milk kefir. And she healed. I mean, if you already didn't know, anytime we are on antibiotics, our gut is wiped of any good bacteria. Wiped, y'all. So, and I know, I'm not saying that all antibiotics are wrong. Don't even go there with me. I'm not saying that, because I do know that occasionally they are needed if the ailment can't be treated with something else, or helped with something else. I'm not saying all antibiotics are bad. My personal opinion is they're too heavily used. They're used for things that they need not be used for. Again, this is my opinion, and this is my page, so I can say what I want, right? Now, I'm getting a little feisty there. Let me pull it back. Anyways, so using things that will help promote that healthy flora, gut flora, is really, really important. And especially for those who have been on an antibiotic. I can't remember how long it said. I read this before. After an antibiotic, it takes, I want to say 6 months to a year to begin building back your gut health. I may be wrong. I'm going to go look that up just to see, but I think that's right. And it's terrible. Now, I'm not telling you don't take your antibiotic if you're in desperate need of healing from something, but because there was a time that I was on a round after round after round, and we're not going into that. But praise the Lord, that's finally healed, and I've since been building my gut back, and it's important because your health starts in your gut. No doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. I wish my son was here because he would tell me the quote about gut health. There's a great quote from some famous historical figure, and it's true. It's very true. Gut health is extremely important. But so I want to encourage you to, if I've got grains for sale, I'd love for you to buy them from me. You know that what they've been used for if you get them here. I just showed you my process. But if I don't have them, there are other people on Etsy. A quote from the Greek philosopher Hippocrates says, "All disease begins in the gut." And just like I was saying, I do believe that. I believe that's why it's so vitally important to take care of our guts and to feed it things that are going to benefit us and help us be the healthiest version of ourselves that we can be. Okay, so milk kefir is a fermented milk drinkable drink. It's sort of like yogurt, but different. I use milk kefir in place of like buttermilk in recipes, and you can even leave it longer and make a soft cheese with it. And you can use it, like if it gets kind of thick, you can also use it in the place of yogurt. It is, everybody knows that yogurt has a lot of probiotic and gut healthy bacteria in it, but kefir is like amplified. So true story, and I won't say names because I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't mind saying stuff like it. I'll just tell you, if it was about me, I'd just tell you. But some people are a little more sensitive than that and don't want to tell you about the issues they've had with their belly or bathroom. But someone I love has diverticulitis, and they went through a spell where it was bad. I mean, very, very bad, like doubled over in pain, kind of bad. And I started thinking, what can I do to help them? So I'm like, you need to really get some probiotics in your diet. They were eating the store-bought yogurt. They were trying to do things to help them. And I had the idea, what about kefir? So I got some kefir and I brewed it up for them and I gave it to them. And within just, a few days, they were substantially better. If you were wanting to do this yourself, you want to find someone with established grains, and there are people that sell them. And when I have enough, I try to sell them as well. But there are also packages out there that are just like a one brew kind of thing. And in my opinion, they don't give you the bang for your buck like real kefir grains will do it. So anyways, this is something that I believe in. I think it's worthwhile doing. And I'm not going to tell you that I do it perfectly all the time, because I'm about to show you that I don't. So I had my kefir in the fridge for a while because I just was busy. Same thing with Paul Hollywood. I put him in the fridge and I had not touched him or my kefir in weeks. But I got them both out the other day. I fed Paul, and then I threw my kefir into some fresh milk, and I let it go too long. And so we've got this. And it's basically a cheese already. This right here is just the cream, because I did not cream the milk, and this right here is the milk solids. So this is not what you want. And then of course this is whey. Excuse me. This is not ideal. This is going to produce a very, very sour kefir. Not that we won't still use it or drink it. It's not wasted. But you don't really want to go this far, because it's going to be very pungent. It's going to be very sour. Not slightly sour or pleasantly sour, but very, very sour. So the process is, you take your kefir grains, you put them in some fresh milk, and I've done this with store-bought milk as well as a fresh milk. You can do it both ways. It still works. And it will begin to ferment. It will eat the sugars from the milks and from the milk and produce a soured or cultured product. What I will do is, this will get strained, and I will put it into a jar and stick it in the fridge. And from there, I will use it in a variety of ways. I use it anywhere my buttermilk would be. Like if I was going to make biscuits, or if I was going to make buttermilk pancakes. I use it a lot in smoothies. I make kefir smoothies. And then I also like to use it in making a ranch dressing. It is so good, and it's so, it gives that, it just gives a fantastic flavor to ranch. And I prefer it. I prefer our ranch over store-bought ranch every day of the week. So I feel like I always have to give you a disclaimer, because I want you to know that I don't know it all. I barely know anything. But what little I do know, I want to encourage and share with, and tell you that this is why we keep the kefir going, and it's because it's benefited our family greatly. Shannon has some gut issues, and one of our kids has had issues before, and it has helped us a lot. When we know that there are issues, we use it more. And then when we're not suffering so much, we still use it, but it may not be as much. Shannon is one of those who loves to, if he knows something's good for you, he wants to do it every day. And I've had to tell him not everything's meant for every day. But, so anyways, let's, having said all that, let's make some kefir together. All right. So like I told you, this kefir is very fermented, but we're going to go ahead and strain it off. And I've got, this is my favorite strainer. I use it for my milking, and it comes with two different strainers, a fine mesh, and then this basically, just a regular type strainer. And that's what you want to use. You don't want to use the fine mesh because this is very thick. So what I'll do is I'll just start pouring it in a little at a time and taking a spatula and running it around to get it to strain through. And I'd already pulled out some grains to show you, but we'll catch the rest of the grains. And some of the whey's coming out now, so it's pouring through pretty easily. And you can go ahead and, whoops. Too much, too fast. You could go ahead and scoop that whey off if you didn't want it. All right, so when I say we want to cream the milk so you don't get that thick, creamy part on the top, this is what I mean. This is raw milk. If you're not using raw milk, you don't have to worry about this part. But I take a little bitty ladle that fits in my jar, and I just go right in, and I scoop off that cream. And this is heavy cream. I can use it to make butter or whipped cream. I can add it to dishes, anywhere that heavy cream would be used. This is what I use. And when you, cow milk will naturally separate like this. You'll see the cream line in a jar of cow milk. Goat milk is a little different. It does not separate naturally unless it sits for a long time. And goat milk, to me, if it has to sit for that long, it gets a little funky, and I don't really love it that way. So to be able to pull the cream off of goat milk, you need a cream separator. I don't have that. But this is cow milk, so that's why it separates so easily. Now I'm not going to go in and I'm not going to try to get every single little drop, because it's not that big a deal to me. I've gotten the majority of it, and now I'm going to call it good. And then I will stick this in the fridge with a different colored lid now that I have different colored lids. A very sweet lady that follows me on Instagram sent me these lids, and so I'm excited to be able to use them here in the kitchen. So that'll be our, now we'll know that's our cream. Because Shannon says, do you realize that our fridge is like a mad scientist's laboratory? It's got all these jars full of all these different things that I have no idea what's what. Could you please label them? And you would think that that would be simple, that I would be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll label them. I never label anything, and I know I should, but I don't. And so there's a lot of, what is this, Mom? What is this, Chas? What is this? So you know, I know what it is, but everybody else is not so sure. So anyways, these colored lids will help, because I'll teach them, okay, the yellow lids means that's cream, and maybe I'll use blue lids for kefir. That's a good idea. I think I will. I'll use the blue lids for the milk kefir. So now this is how we're going to brew the milk kefir. So I've got, this is the jar the kefir just came out of. Some people do not reuse the jars. A lot of times I do, for like another, you know, maybe a second time or third, but then I'll probably clean it. But see, like the top is fairly clean, and all this is going to be filled with milk. So I don't, you know, to me it's just sort of like a clabber. It's just going to help it get going quicker. So this is the fresh milk that we just creamed. I'm going to change my strainer over here. This is the kefir we just strained. So this will go to the side, and this will be what we use in our recipes or what we drink. So I'm going to go ahead and dump these grains into the jar. And then I'm going to dump the ones that I already brought out to show you. And what's really cool about it is they multiply. So in a couple of brewings, I should have plenty more to put back in my store. And I'll link my store in the comments. So in case you're wanting some kefir grains, you can get some. And then I'm just going to pour the milk in. So about as much as I want, which will be the whole thing. We'll take the lid off. I'll put this lid back on. I'll give it a little shake. I won't have this super tight, but it'll be on there tight enough. And then I'll set this right over here on my counter to ferment for 24 hours. And that's as easy as it is. Once that's done, after 24 hours, I'll go through this process all over again. Now, if you wait and you do 36 hours or whatever, it's still fine. It still works. It just may be a little tangier than, the 24-hour ferment. And as per usual, y'all, remember, when it's warmer, things ferment faster. When it's cooler, things ferment slower. So keep that in mind. As we're entering the fall and the winter here, it may take, the 36 hours to get the ferment you want. And it may still take 24 if you keep your house pretty warm. So just keep those things in mind. If you're going into summer, it may ferment very fast. So just be watchful. All right, we're gonna make some ranch dressing with my kefir. And I had to go and pull some of my jars down because I'm almost out of some of my ingredients in my small jars here. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that up. I think this one's garlic. And I went ahead and added a few things already in my bowl because last week I got a little winded and it was an hour-long video. And it was probably one of my least watched videos. And I was like, it's because I got so mouthy, I guess. But it was a good one, I thought. I mean, I love pumpkins. I gave a lot of good things that you could do with pumpkins, I thought. Anyways. So I'm just filling up the chives now. All right. So I will have a printable recipe card for you at the end of the video in the description. But we'll go ahead. So equal parts into a bowl of mayonnaise and sour cream is what I use. You could use yogurt if you wanted to. I got these at Costco. I love dehydrated onions. I need to make some more of my own, but I'm out. But I really like to use them, especially in this ranch. It gives, I don't know, it just gives it something. So into the bowl I have equal parts mayonnaise and sour cream. And then I've got a good tablespoon or so of chopped garlic. I'm going to add the same in the onions. And like I said, I'll have, the steps and all the things in the bottom. Chives, the measurements. That's the word I'm looking for. Heavens alive, y'all. Getting older is no joke, my brain. This is garlic powder. This is dill. You have fresh, it's wonderful, but your dried dill will work too. So chives, dill, and parsley are the three green herbs that I use. And I use about equal parts of all of them. I'm out of my granulated onion in my jar, so I'm gonna fill that up. All right, so those are all the things besides salt. And it takes a good pinch of salt or two. And then you're gonna taste it, of course, and see how much more it needs. Now at this point, it's not a probiotic dressing at all. It's just ranch. Now, if you have done like I have in, I've showed you before, you've made the dry ranch seasoning like I have on my, Lord have mercy, on my blog, not my blog, on my Instagram. If you already have that, you can add it straight to some sour cream and mayonnaise and make it. Or you can do like I did here and just add all the different seasonings. Now, this here is just perfectly fine. But if you will go in and get your kefir, and I walked out without it, I'm gonna have to go get it out of the fridge. I put it in the fridge to tidy things up, and then now I need it. I'm gonna go grab it. Told you I'd use the blue lid. Alright, so here we're going to add some of our wonderful probiotic kefir and mix that up. It will thicken as you leave it in the fridge, so I want to thin this down some. I don't make it like runny pourable. I guess it's probably, by the time it sits up in the fridge, it's not really pourable at all. It may seem pourable right now. But the flavors, oh my gracious, they develop as it sits in the fridge. It's so good. I could eat like a lot of this. Okay, so see, it's kind of still a little thick, but like I said, it's going to thicken up in the fridge, so I'm going to add a bit more. My girls love ranch like I do. My boys not so much. Shannon eats it, but it's not like he loves it like we do. The girls and I love ranch. Good ranch. Y'all, I'm telling you, I sound like so, you know. I know I said the word last time, bougie. I'm not at all. I just, when you have something that tastes really, really good, and it's like, why go back to the counterpart that's not so tasty? Plus, it's way not good for you. And this is super good for you. So, all right, got me a tasting spoon. Let's give it a taste. Because that, whoo, Bella, no ma'am. Because that kefir was so pungent and fermented for so long, it's definitely got a kick. I like the kick, but it does need some more salt. Of course, I'm using Redmond's. And it does need some more onion powder. Let's put in this. I think that's going to be wonderful. It's very pourable right now, but like I said, it will thicken up as it goes into the fridge. But this is going to be so good for your belly, and it's going to be delicious too. I have other ways that I use kefir over on my Instagram. If you'd like to visit me over there, there will be a link to that in the description. But definitely give this kefir a try and see if it doesn't help your gut. Another thing you may hear about milk kefir or kefir, kombucha, anything, is do not use metal stuff with it. So that was another thing. When I started making kombucha eons ago, I thought if it touched metal, it was going to poison my family and we were all going to die. And I think that is one of those things where those guidelines are good, but people put too much fear-based stuff along with it, and people like me that didn't know any better when I started was terrified. Like, I'm gonna kill my family if I'm not careful. But it's for an extended period of time. You don't want to leave them in something metal for an extended period because it will react. Fermenting things react to metal. So that's, sorry, that was the dog. I'm training her, so she's been staying pretty close to me. Go lay down, baby. That's all it is. Do not be afraid. Do not be like fearful that you're going to kill your family. If you have a metal strainer, use that metal strainer. It's perfectly fine. You're not leaving it in there for hours and hours or days. You're just straining it out. It's okay. Use that metal spoon. It's not a big deal. Sourdough, kombucha, milk kefir, water kefir, whatever. It's not like you're using them extensively with any of those, so you're fine. Bella, behave yourself. So there you go. Just another little tidbit to help you. And I think that's so important, because I wish I had someone that told me that 20 years ago. I don't necessarily go and shake mine all the time or bump it like they did when in the old days in the goat skin. I don't. I might, pick it up and look at it, but I don't make a habit of it. So it's not a big deal if you don't go shake it. Some people say put it in a cabinet out of light, keep it. I'm just going to be straight up honest. If I was to put it in a cabinet away from light, I'd sure enough forget about it. I just can't do it. I cannot put things out of my line of sight, or else they're history. I have too many open tabs in my brain, and I can't. I can't function with something that I don't see or I'm not aware of that I'm doing. That was in my line of sight, and I let it go 3 days instead of 1. So if I had hit it, I might not find it till Christmas. So that's just, there's so many rules that people try to put on things, and it makes it feel so unattainable. I just want to encourage you that there's so much freedom and opportunity and cooking and baking and fermenting, and it's just, we don't have to be afraid, and we don't have to, check off every single rule at every single box at every single moment in order to do things well. And that's the beauty of it, I think. I think back, do you think Ma Ingalls, and she's like, homesteading heroine here. You think Ma Ingalls had a timer that told her, you better get this done right now or it's going to go bad? No, she had a sense. And she knew, okay, well, the sourdough needs to be fed today. I need to, churn the butter today. She kind of had a rhythm of how things went. She didn't have somebody setting alarms every half hour to do folds and turns, or every 24 hours to strain her kefir. So just, there are some guidelines, but it's not hard and fast rules. So just remember that, and don't feel so discouraged when you see those influencers or teachers out there that make you feel like it has to be this way or the highway. On this stuff, it really, there's a lot of freedom. So I hope that encourages you, because if there wasn't some freedom, I wouldn't do it. Y'all know me, I'm just gonna tell you like it is. I need some freedom when it comes to this or that, and I need to not feel restricted by how to do certain things, or it just doesn't happen, because my brain space is only so, there's only so much room up there. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you so much for just putting up with me and listening to me, and I hope you learned something. That's my goal, is to sit down with you like you would if you would come on over to the house and we were talking, and I just hope that I can teach you something. And if not, I hope I made you laugh, or I hope I gave you a smile. But I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your presence here, your time that you spend watching, the comments that y'all leave. Boy howdy, they just bless my heart. And I really want to just say how grateful I am to each and every one of you. I'd love it if you enjoyed this, if you would share it, and keep an eye out. Like I said, I hope to have some milk kefir grains to be able to share with y'all very soon. I promise I'm going to get onto it and keep it going more frequently, so I have the multiplied grain. I have the grains to multiply, so I can share them, because I don't need all of them myself. And that's the beauty of all of this, is there's so much extra that can be shared. I have sourdough starter that if you're interested, it's in my shop as well. And I just love you. I appreciate you, and I want to say come back again soon. Y'all have the best day. Bye-bye. Just a quick additional, whatever. But I just wanted to tell you, I've been reading more since I started talking to you about the milk kefir. And milk kefir, if you struggle with a fatty liver or have fatty liver disease, milk kefir can help to reverse this disease. How absolutely cool is that? So seriously, milk kefir is amazing. And I'm so thrilled to bring this video to you and to help you learn a little bit about it, and how I think it would be so beneficial for you.